Hey guys, Likey here, back with another video in quite a while, but this time, I know you guys love this, it's free-to-play decks. Everyone needs a free-to-play deck, whether they're competitive or casual, just a deck that they can easily level up and push with on ladder. So, as you can see, I'm pushing, I'm a little bit lower than my season PB, but that's totally fine. Typically, I don't push a lot, I only stopped at 5K last season, so I'm kind of trying to push a bit higher, maybe get 5,600 this season, because that's the blue badge. So we're going to go for that. As you can see, I have the one of the decks that I'm going to be featuring today on my profile. It's going to be this Zapate Motorcycle deck, which I've really liked right now. Has Spear Goblins, Fire Spirits, and Bats for Zapate, the NATO just for control. The Mortar as your main defense and offense. The Knight's just a great support. You have the Rocket and Log, of course. You can also replace Archers for Spirit Goblins and Ice Spirit for Fire Spirits. That's another really solid version. You can also put in Tesla for Tornado. That's another really solid version, but I'm really liking this version right now. So we're going to hop into a live match with this deck, then show you guys one or two replays with it. And we're going to hop to the next deck, which is one that I made, which I know you guys will really love. So, here we go. Let's get some Spear Goblins in. And he's going to zap them. So, let's just set up in Mortar on offense and see what he has to do. He's going to play a Giant. Okay. So, let's actually rocket both the Executioner and the Giant just to get some damage off the Giant and make sure we take down that Executioner, and just Bats should be able to finish off this Giant, so we're looking pretty good here. The Executioner, I might have to rocket every time, just because your Mortar's never going to get through an Executioner, but as long as I can catch something alongside the Executioner, it should be fine. Looks like he's actually going to have Sparky, so what I'm thinking is I can cycle back to a Rocket, and then hopefully rocket Sparky with some other stuff. So, let's get Spear Goblins down. Looks like he has, okay, so I don't really want to rocket this. Let's get some Fire Spirits down. Let's get, Bats, and, okay, I don't know what he's doing, but, let's get a Mortar down in a position where it'll hit that, Elixir Collector. Looks like he's going to go with Giant, but as soon as the Giant goes inside the Mortar's inner range, it's going to start hitting the Elixir Collector. So we're going to be getting some good value from the Mortar. As long as it gets 2 shots, it denied 4 Elixir. Perfect, we denied 4 Elixir. He had to throw a Giant into us. We're looking pretty good. So from now on, I'm going to be saving my Rocket strictly for his Sparky. Or his Elixir Collector if he plays it in the back where I want it, because I can cycle faster than him. Here we go. Okay, so it looks like another place for a Mortar like this. Looks like he's going to play Minion Horde, but I can just go with a Tornado and Fire Spirits. That's going to take that out, no problem. Mortar getting 2 shots on the Elixir Collector, that's what I like to see. 3 shots, actually, so it got more than 4 Elixir of value. Let's log. So, interesting NATO by him. Let's get some Fire Spirits to block our Prince here. Once again, he's playing the Elixir Collector in the center. I guess he doesn't understand that you shouldn't be doing that against Mortar. Let's get a Knight down. He already used his Zap, so let's get Bats down. I'm just going to rocket this Executioner here, actually. Technically, that was a bad play, because I know he has Sparky, but I'm just going to keep pushing, because if that Executioner stayed, I couldn't have gotten any damage here. Okay, so it looks like I'm pretty good to rocket cycle him here. I might try to pull that off. Looks like he's going to set up a pump. I might want to rocket that pump, or I might want to rocket the Sparky. I think, yeah, I'd rather rocket the Sparky with the Prince. So here we go. We're going to block with Fire Spirits. And yeah, we're looking pretty good in this match here. Looks like he's going to go with a Minion Horde. That's pretty easy to take out. And let's set up another Mortar here. He's probably going to Executioner it. Interesting, okay. So what I want to do is I want to wait for both the Executioner and the Sparky to be together. Maybe he'll throw something else in. He does. That means that Okay, interestingly enough, my rocket's only level 12, so it's not going to be taking out the Sparky. That was a misplay on my part to assume that it would. Here we go. Okay, so this might be our opportunity to get a mortar connection. Yep, there we go. His giant is inside the mortar range. Let's pull all of this back. Looks like we're within 2 rocket range, so hopefully we can pull it off. He does have multiple pumps on the screen. Let's get fire spirits here. I'm going to be able to take out most of that minion horde. Hopefully take out the executioner. So NATO will do it, luckily. Let's get bats on the executioner, surrounding. Oh god, this is like the most frustrating defense I've had to do. Knight, tornado. I don't know if we're going to be able to get 2 rockets down, actually. Let's get a mortar down just to block the giant a bit. Unfortunately, it does not get a shot off. This is so intense. Okay, let's get fire spirits down. Let's get a NATO pulling this back, and I think we're in 1 rocket range here. Here we go. 1 rocket, and that is good game, dude. Interesting deck, lots of rocket bait, but we were able to pull it off, so that's fine. We just had to cycle a lot of logs. This deck is really solid. Basically, nothing can break through. You can rely on that, as long as you play it right. So, now we can look at 2 replays from this deck. Yeah, this one against a mortar bait deck, which is pretty common. So let's go over this one. So this deck is pretty good against like mortar bait or something like that, because you can rocket cycle them and they really can't do anything. You have your NATO. He plays his miner right where I can NATO it. If you can like NATO their first hog or NATO their first miner, that really puts you in a good position for the rest of the game. Because they can only really like play their miner or hog, or they can only really play their miner in one spot, and their hog gets countered by just a NATO. So we're looking pretty good here. I think I NATO everything back. Yep. Unfortunately, you need 3 ticks of the NATO to kill the skeletons, but that's fine. So he has like a bit of a damage advantage, but I had a huge elixir lead, so I just played down a mortar. There's really nothing he can do. All he could really do was play Spirit Goblins as soon as he had enough elixir for them. He can't really do anything now, because if he plays bats, my tower's just going to take it out, and he's really going to be at a huge deficit. So my mortar is just getting tons of value, because he overcommitted, and he has nothing for it. And once you get the tower, like, sufficiently low, a rocket cycle is pretty, you know, it's a pretty good option. So he just plays his rascals where I can rocket it, and that's just really bad for him, because his rascals are basically 5 elixir. They're basically dead. Like, all that's left is the rascal boy with a sliver of health. That's not gonna get anything done, and his mortar's not gonna get too much done either. So yeah, I think I just let that die, because I don't really mind about the couple hits. I know there's no way he's going to break through as soon as I start setting up defensive mortars, and I'm just basically waiting till the end where I'll rocket it. So, I can put it in 2 times speed, because at this point I'm just defending. He's going to try to go for offensive mortars, but I'm just going to keep setting up defensive mortars, not much he can do. Pulling his miners away from the tower, things like that. King Tower's helping out a lot. So definitely NATO stuff to the King Tower when you can. Like, even if it's something like a Golem, NATOing it to the King Tower is a great option. So I just stack defensive mortars, just ensuring that he doesn't get anything through. And I finish the game with a rocket, and that's just GG. Rocket's one of the most important cards in this deck to level up. Mine's only level 12. It was level 11 for the longest time. But, yeah. So now that we've done 2 matches, I don't know if I need to show you guys this one. It's a similar match. You've seen 2 matches with that deck. Now, I'm going to show you this other deck that I made. I'm using it on this other account called the Holy Ninja, and really just don't cringe. I know you're gonna cringe as soon as you see it, but here it is. It's this Royal Giant, Mortar, Rascals, Bats, Barbarians, whatever. It's that deck. Now, I know it looks really, really dirty and ugly and terrible, but then you need to take into consideration the fact that it's all commons. That's right. Literally, the entire deck is commons. It's so easy to level up, and it's so easy to use. Like, the skill cap required to use this deck with high success is really, really not high. The only skill you need to master is handling Splash, like Executioner or Wizard or something like that. And the main idea is, if they play one of those cards, you don't want to keep going in that same lane. You want to go in the opposite lane, basically. Don't play into their Splash cards. Also, like, if they do anything, like, if they play any spell, you can punish so hard. It's such a fun deck. I know it looks so dirty. It's not that dirty. It doesn't feel that dirty when you're playing it, but I'm sure the opponents hate it. It's like the Rascals and everything. It's just so much bait. It's such a good deck. So we're going to look over the first replay with it. Oh, by the way, with this deck, I got the Holy Ninja account to 5554, almost 5600. I don't know what my goal is going to be, but with an all-common deck that's really not hard to play, like, it's just an extremely logical option to level up. Like, I'm focusing on leveling that up on my Likey account just because it's so much easier to play than Mortar Cycle, and, like, really, really, like, for a deck I made, I think it's like the best ladder option right now. And like, how many decks can you say are all commons? Like, really, I don't have any rares max, so an all commons deck is really nice to me. So yeah, this guy's playing Lavaloon basically, and any like air deck is kind of screwed because I just have so much bait that can hit air, like the Minion Horde and Bats and Rascals and everything. So he plays this pretty well. He gets his balloon to the tower, but it's not the end of the world for me. I just set up a mortar. There's not much he can do about it. And with this deck, your dual win condition, a lot of times you don't want to use your RG until you have to. So I'm not going to use my RG unless they like play a golem in the back. Then I'll go like RG opposite lane. But typically I won't use my RG till double elixir or to finish off a tower that's like at 1200 or something around there. So most of the game is played using the mortar as a win condition. If my mortar really isn't breaking through and we've hit double elixir, I start going with my RG here. So I went with my RG there just because I know he's running Lavaloon, so his only viable counter is a Tombstone, but he played his Tombstone where my RG wasn't even distracted, so I just went with an RG, got a bit of chip damage, and that was fine. So yeah, this deck is extremely intuitive, it's easy to play, it's easy to win with. Barbarians are also really solid, like any tank, like Hog, Giant, anything. Literally just play your Barbarians on it. Even if it's just a bait out of Fireball like I did there. Because I just didn't want him Fireballing my Minion Horde. And, yeah, now he can't Fireball my Minion Horde, so that's good. Now, when you have, like, a bunch of troops down, like, for example, if you have, like, Barbs and Minion Horde and, like, Rascals down, like, just throw an RG. It doesn't matter if it's in front or behind or what, but it's guaranteed damage. As you can see, the RG is just getting tons of guaranteed damage. There's really nothing the opponent can do here. I just have to defend it out for like 20 seconds. That's not going to be too hard. I have the mortar, I have Rascals. And also, like, you might say, like, this is a really easy matchup, but he had Barb Barrel and Fireball and Zap and Baby Dragon, so he did have the suitable counters to the bait if he, if he played them right. But, in the end, like, it's just such an easy to play deck, and that's what really struck me. The ease with which I was able to push ladder, like, I've barely lost with it, and I could probably push much harder. It's such an easy deck to push with, really. So next we're going to go over this deck. He has some splash. He has the Valk, he has Baby Dragon, he has Ice Wizard. Now, my only spell is Zap, so his Goblin Barrel, Skeleton Army, and Bats are going to get tons of value, so I think it's a pretty hard matchup, personally. Looks like we're on the top this time, so, yeah, let's see how I play this match. So, I think I just start off with Goblin Gang at the bridge. It's a pretty solid play. They have to respond somehow. And he just goes with a Skeleton Army on it. So I don't think I defend it. I think I just set up a mortar. And no, he sends in his Hog, but I do set up a mortar. But unlike Mortar Cycle, you have, like, the Barbarians. They just instantly wreck any tank, whether it's, like, Hog, Giant, Royal Giant. It's such an easy card to play. Like, honestly, you don't need to be a pro player to play this deck, and that's what's so beautiful about it. It's easy to level up, and anyone can play it. Like, as long as you know what counters what, you're good to go. So here we go. I have my Rascals coming down the lane here. He chooses to go with an Ice Wiz. I'm pretty sure my Rascals will take that out if he doesn't play anything else. Yeah, so my Rascals take that out. And as you can see, I'm not using the Royal Giant until, like, double Elixir, until I get the tower kind of low. So, literally, there could be matches where I just, if the mortar is working, why not keep using it, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have a heavy spell, though. So the Royal Giant is basically like the heavy spell in this deck. You use your Royal Giant to finish towers, basically. So you just defend, and then just throw a Royal Giant, either same lane or opposite lane. Either way, it's probably going to be guaranteed damage. So, yeah, the Royal Giant is a common, which, I don't think there are any common heavy spells. So, using the Royal Giant as, like, that heavy spell role allows this deck to be all commons, and it also allows you to have an extra win condition, so really solid. As you can see, I'm really not using my Royal Giant. I don't find myself having to, because my Mortar and Bait is pretty much getting the job done. But there's never going to be, like, a situation where the tower's stuck at 300, because I can just send in my Royal Giant, no problem. Now he tries to push with Valkyrie and Hog. Obviously I can't play my Goblin Gang or Barbarians until that Valkyrie is dead. And once it is, I just go in. So now he goes in with his Goblin Barrel. I'm just able to use Bats and defend that out. And here we go. I set up a mortar with my Rascals. We have a pretty solid push going here. Mortar is locked on the tower, so really that's unfortunate for him. And I think I let my mortar die because he's, like, sending in a lot of stuff. I just use my RG to tank. I use my barbs to try to take out his Hog. It's pretty close. He almost actually takes the tower down with his Hog. His Goblin Barrel almost takes it down too. I don't have the time required to place Goblin Barrel in the position that completely denies, but it's totally fine and I end up winning. I probably could have taken the second tower with RG in the middles too, but yeah, literally, it's my deck, it's all commons, and I'm really excited about it. So tell me what you guys think of this video. Tell me if you tried out my deck. Hopefully you guys enjoy it, and yeah, so if you want, like, a solid option that, like, a lot of people are using, I would do something like this, but personally, I've had a much, much easier time pushing with this one, so it's really up to you. Hopefully you guys found something in this video that you can use, and I'll see you in my next video, guys. Bye.